I left the homosexual lifestyle 16 years ago Friday. Change is possible.
I lived and loved being a lesbian and being a part of the gay community. But my faith journey led me to question my sexuality as a lesbian. Ultimately, my same-sex desires, my desires for women faded, and I became attracted to the man that's now my husband. I no longer experience same-sex attraction.
I was given the freedom to go and find resources, counseling that helped me to come out of the gay lifestyle. Because of that, now I live a happy life.
Hi-yow! Info Ninja. Friends, countrymen, and those that still believe in the truth. Lend me your ears so I can welcome you back to the dojo.
Can somebody give me a hi?
Haven't started to show off that way in a while. Just like riding a bike it is. How you guys doing? Welcome back to the dojo. You know, all of you really add to my happy quite a bit. Every time that I see that you have listened to an episode, you don't get to see me checking those things, but I know you listen. I know when you don't listen too. And every time I see that, it just makes me smile. It warms my heart. So big shout out to everybody watching / listening on Rumble. Big shout out to everybody on True Social. Big shout out to everybody on X. That's right. We are at Info Ninja Show on X, at Info Ninja Show now. And of course, big shout out to everybody there in podcast land. Hit that share button right now. Let's spread the truth, baby. It's time to get sweaty.
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there.
So have you heard of conversion therapy? This is not a new thing. It's been called many things, but conversion therapy is the most general term used for it. It was big back in the 90s. I remember first hearing about it back in that time, and it was very controversial because it mainly included minors. It included children, but adults do access this type of therapy as well. So essentially, conversion therapy, and what the liberals called it, was praying the gay away. It's when gay people that don't want to be gay anymore go to therapy. And a lot of times these are like retreat type situations. So camps, they'll go and they'll spend a few weeks and they'll work with, religious leaders, that they'll pray. They will go through actual cognitive therapy. There's a lot of things that they do. And the idea is that God can change them from the inside out, which is absolutely 100% true. But the liberals cannot have that because there's a few things. Number one, that in their mind is saying that there's something wrong with gay people. Well, I'll tell you this. There's something wrong with all people, okay? Homosexuality is a sin. We're not going to lie about that on this show, or you shouldn't lie about that in your life. The Bible says that it is a sin, but the Bible doesn't say it's the only sin. Homosexuality, being gay, involved in that activity, maybe not being gay, but being involved in the homosexual activity is a sin, and it's not the only sin. Sometimes it gets treated that way. I see a lot of Christians, not myself, but I see a lot of Christians that seem to hyper-focus on those people and seem to hyper-focus on that sin. I don't quite understand it. That's not making us any friends. It's not building any bridges. We shouldn't lie to people about the sin side of it, but at the same time, we shouldn't condemn them and not condemn ourselves at the same time, because we're all sinners and we all need Jesus.
Amen.
So the argument made by the left is that minors, their parents were signing them up for this, and they were saying that it was very harmful and leading to more suicide. There were more suicide attempts, more suicidal ideations, and all kinds of bad thoughts associated with going to these camps. And since parents, crazy Christian parents that want their kids to follow the Bible, they would send these kids to these camps, quote unquote, against their will. Many states, 27 to be exact, plus Washington, D.C., have outlawed this type of therapy for minors. If you are an adult, of course, you can pretty much access any type of therapy you would want. But as a minor, to protect the kids from their own parents, 27 states, and you can probably guess which states have outlawed conversion therapy, or as the liberals coined it, praying the gay away. And ultimately, it just led us to the same argument. Are people born gay or are they made gay? I'm a believer that people are not born gay. I have seen some young people that act awful gay, but I don't think sexually, at least they're not acting out at that age, but they tend to have more feminine characteristics if they're a boy, or be a little more masculine like a tomboy if they're a girl. But that's really not an indicator of their sexual attraction, because hopefully at prepubescent time in their life, there is none of that going on. So I believe that you are made gay. Through your experiences, I believe through demonic intervention as well. I believe people allow that stuff into their life when they don't have Jesus, or they're involved with the wrong stuff, or their family's involved with the wrong stuff, or they're exposed to the wrong stuff, or something happens to them way too soon in their life. They tend to skew in different directions. I know for a fact that there are people that got no play from the opposite sex, so they went gay, or they got treated very poorly by the opposite sex, so they went gay. So sometimes it's very circumstantial. I don't think people are born gay. It doesn't make sense why God would say it was a sin and then have people born that were gay. God does not make mistakes. He does not contradict himself. So I'm saying these people are mentally ill. I'm not saying that gay people are mentally ill, like they're crazy and you got to be afraid of them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is potentially they are straight people who have had something happen to them, some kind of injury to their mind, some kind of trauma that has taken place. That's the mental illness that I'm talking about. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Yes, the outcome is negative. Yes, any kind of trauma is negative, but I'm just being factual. I do have people in my life that are gay, and they are my friends. I love everyone because I'm a Christian, and that's what we do. We love. We are the salt of the earth. We don't hate. There are some that do that, but they're not acting very Christian-like, and they need prayers. They need to realign. They need to read all of their Bible.
That's right.
So, of course, the banning of conversion therapy, that's 27 states plus DC, it was done based off of data that is kind of shaky at best. Now, at first, it appeared to be pretty concrete. They could look at the results and go, this amount of kids went to conversion therapy, this amount of kids killed themselves or wanted to kill themselves. This is a bad thing. We have to stop it now. Parents are forcing kids to do that. A lot of this was based on Gallup polling. So they contacted 330,000 Americans and they identified like 3,000 people out of that group and then cut it down to like 1,500 people. And they were able to conduct interviews, and the results of it were kind of shocking. There was a 2 times increase in suicidal thoughts if you had gone to gay conversion therapy, and there was a 1.7 times increase in suicide attempts if you had gone to conversion therapy. So the legislatures in these states went into immediate action and banned this practice, and everybody just kind of forgot about it. It's banned. Some states you can do it, but over half the states you can't do it. And they kind of left it alone. The study wasn't looked at anymore. And then along comes Father Paul. Father Paul Solis is a Catholic priest, and he's also a former college professor and a current researcher at the Ruth Institute. He says that when they were analyzing their data, they made a big mistake, and it's a very obvious mistake that cannot be disproven. You can't argue this and go, it's a conspiracy theory. You can't say anything. They made a common mistake when analyzing the data, and actually everything that they're saying is actually the opposite of what they're saying. The opposite is true of what they say is true. So this is really interesting. So Father Paul said that he went back and looked at all the interviews. He read all the transcripts, and he found that they made a massive mistake when it came to thoughts of suicide and suicide attempts. When analyzing their data, they did not take into account when the suicide attempt or ideation took place. They talked about it in the interview. It was part of the interview process. The questions were asked, so Father Paul was able to look at the data and determine it. But as it turns out, most of the suicidal thoughts and the suicide ideation occurred prior to therapy. And thus, those suicide attempts and suicidal thoughts obviously cannot be associated with the therapy they had not even gone to yet. But it gets even crazier. Father Paul found that when they go to therapy, they actually had less suicide attempts and less suicidal ideations. This is actually an effective therapy in that regard. You think that would be a win, but it doesn't follow the gay agenda. They don't want gay people to think anything is wrong with them because they want their vote. Satan may want their soul, but the Democrats want their vote.
You son of a bitch.
So another big argument against conversion therapy is that it doesn't work. Nobody walks out of there and they're not gay anymore. They just might be a little angry. But as it turns out, Father Paul proved that one wrong too. The actual percentages as far as success is concerned. So success would be someone that walks out of there and they're straight now. Success is someone that doesn't want to boogie with the same noodle. Success is someone that doesn't want to play fizzle sticks anymore or pat the panda. 100% straight and narrow now. No gayness.
Gay.
Well, Father Paul says that the actual success rate is somewhere between 17 and 20% of people that go to this are not gay for the rest of their life. After that, they're on the straight and narrow. And I don't know, maybe when they're very, very old, they might turn gay again. Who knows? I don't know how long this study's been going on, but they walk out of there and 17 to 20% of them report later on down the road that they're not gay anymore. This is even crazier. 60 to 65% of the people that went to that claim that they feel less gay. And what does that mean, right? How do you feel less gay? They report that they feel less engaged in same-sex attraction, less engaged and interested in doing a relationship, a same-sex relationship. They still say that they are attracted to the other sex, but 60 to 65% of them say they feel less gay. So we got 20% that don't want to mess around anymore. We got 60, 65% that are thinking, hey, this isn't very cool anymore. To me, that sounds like an effective therapy. To me, that sounds like a better idea than not going to therapy. So this study, by the way, didn't talk about trans people. It was lesbian, gay, and bisexual. But maybe if you're one of these trans people out there, I'm not even going to say maybe. Let's say definitely if you're one of these trans people out there that is suffering with a clear identity dissociation, maybe you should go to gay therapy. Maybe you should give God a chance. Remember, God doesn't make mistakes, and he didn't make a mistake when he made you. You're not in the wrong body. Don't believe all that garbage they're trying to tell you. They're trying to steal your soul. They're trying to kill you. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but through him, so let's do this, baby. Turn from your wicked ways and ask for his help, because clearly the numbers are showing that it works. There is hope out there, because as it turns out, you can pray away the gay. Makes you kind of wonder what else you can pray away. Answer: everything. Because God will and does answer all your prayers. Sometimes the answer's no. Hi, yow. Info Ninja.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like them frogs. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Frogs! Friggin' frog crap! Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny! I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs!